We're now joined by Ross Jackson of the Locked On Saints podcast. Ross, this deal with Alvin Kamara finally gets done. What's your biggest takeaway from the extension?
I think my biggest takeaway is that it's finally finished. I mean, this is a deal that the New Orleans Saints should have gotten done all the way back during training camp. But I'll tell you what, I think that the real big takeaway here is that Alvin Kamara has already shown that he has no intention on quitting on this team. That was evident when he pursued the contract extension, didn't get it, played through broken ribs, played through a hip injury, played through more injuries. Scored 4 touchdowns up against the Dallas Cowboys earlier this season. And now the New Orleans Saints return that with a pretty big commitment that they have no intention on quitting on him either. I think that's a massive statement from New Orleans, who could have looked at Alvin Kamara as a potential trade piece after their 5-game losing streak. Instead, they stand by him and show that they have a real intent to continue to try to compete this season.
Yeah, they definitely show that, and it also shows that when this offense was at full or even close to full strength, Kamara looked like the Pro Bowler that who their fans fell in love with, right? Do you believe that was part of the motivation to get this deal done now versus the offseason?
Yeah, that could have been for sure. I mean, look, this offensive line has been kind of hampered with injury, or really decimated with injury, particularly over on the interior. Now they're starting to get healthy. They're getting back to the point where they were early on in the beginning of the season, where he was at his most effective in Clint Kubiak's new, wide zone run scheme that he brings to New Orleans. There's the opportunity to get some of that interior offensive line back. This is a good time to kind of get this done, put any distractions and question marks behind you, and instead start to look ahead for the New Orleans Saints and Alvin Kamara as they try to rebound and save this season.
The Saints, as you mentioned, on a 5-game losing streak, there's been some discussion about if New Orleans should consider selling at the trade deadline and if they should tank for a top draft pick in 2025. You feel like this move is an indication that the Saints aren't looking in that direction, right?
Yeah, absolutely. This is 100% an indication to me that the Saints intend to continue to compete and do what it is that they do. And sometimes it's against maybe better judgment, but this is a team that always wants to be in the conversation and that always wants to compete. They want to be in that number, if you will. And this is a significant kind of indication that that will be the case. Alvin Kamara and cornerback Marshawn Lattimore were kind of the best 2 potential trade assets that New Orleans would have had nearing the trade deadline, but getting this extension done shows they have no intention of moving on from Alvin Kamara. That gives you an indication of what it is that they intend to do here throughout the rest of the season as well. So I would expect that if they are going to be buyers or sellers at any point, expect it to happen in the offseason as they get closer to the draft, not at any point here during the 2025 season, and don't expect Alvin Kamara to be a part of those conversations.
That's Ross Jackson of the Locked On Saints podcast. Ross, as always, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, bud.